Hello and welcome to News 9 Live. That's our top story that we are focusing on this evening. Evidence tampered in Pune Porsche case, says the police. Now, many theories did the rounds in the Pune Porsche case, in which a 17-year-old teen crashed his speeding Porsche into a bike and killed two people, Animesh and his friend Ashwini Costa, who died instantly in the Kalyani Nagar locality of Pune. The father of the teen, a well-known builder in Pune, Vishal Agarwal, was arrested along with the owners of two bars where the minor was served alcohol. Until today, he was arrested. That is 24 May. We have to see if it is extended any further. There are allegations that the family of the teen did all it could to keep the teen from being nabbed. The theory that it was the driver who was driving the car, which had a temporary license plate, that an MP went to visit the teen when he was taken for questioning, the grandfather's alleged network with some of the most powerful men, etc., etc., etc. But the Pune police today drove holes into all their theories. Amitesh Kumar, Police Commissioner of Pune, said that the police have enough and more evidence that the teen was indeed behind the wheels when the accident took place.
There was some attempt by the father of the accused to change the driver. That has come to light, and we are exploring application of section 201 IPC in the said case. As far as any public representative is concerned, I still say that the police station is a public premise. Anyone can come, no one can be stopped from entering the police station. However, we are very, very sure and we are very, very clear that no extraneous circumstances decides or affects the course of action which the police has to take. I am very, very sure and with full confidence I am saying that the action, the path which the police has taken was the legally most correct path which we have taken. So there is no question of any extraneous circumstance. हमारे जांच में ये स्पष्ट आया है कि ये जो जुवेनाइल एक्यूज्ड है यही गाड़ी चला रहा था और इसके लिए क्रोनोलॉजिकली जो एविडेंस जरूरी थे वो एविडेंस इकट्ठा किए गए हैं। उदाहरण के तौर पे जब वो घर से निकला था उसके घर के सिक्योरिटी गार्ड के पास की जो रजिस्टर है उसमें पहली एंट्री है कि ये लड़का, ये आरोपी ये गाड़ी लेके निकला है। इस प्रकार के सीसीटीवी फुटेजेस और अलग अलग एविडेंस, टेक्निकल एविडेंस के तौर पे ये हमारी निश्चित हुई है कि ये गाड़ी ये जुवेनाइल एक्यूज चला रहा था। इसके साथ साथ आई विटनेसेस की स्टेटमेंट भी हमारे पास है जो टेक्निकल एविडेंस को कोरोबोरेट करती है। इसमें हमने बताया कि इस प्रकार की कुछ अटेम्प्ट घटना होने के कुछ घंटों में करने का प्रयत्न किया गया था कि इसमें ड्राइवर, ये एडल्ट ड्राइवर ये गाड़ी चला रहा था और ये आरोपी ये गाड़ी नहीं चला रहा था। इस तरह की बात सामने आ रही है। इसकी हम पूरी तरीके से तहकीकात करके जो भी इस प्रकार का प्रयत्न किया उसके विरुद्ध 201 आईपीसी एविडेंस डिस्ट्रक्शन के तहत कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
There were of course several loopholes which were being spoken about right from the beginning when this case came to light in the way the Pune police carried out the investigation. You know, let me just list them out for all of you on your screens right now. How the Pune police failed to conduct a blood sample test immediately after the arrest. Blood test conducted more than 8 hours after the arrest. Accused charged under IPC section 304A, which is causing death by negligence. Didn't initially file a case under the more severe IPC section 304, culpable homicide not amounting to murder. You know, when asked about the delayed blood test and whether it shall have a consequence on the prosecution's charges, the police commissioner said that the charges will not be invalidated if the results are negative.
मैं ये बताना चाहूंगा कि इसमें ब्लड रिपोर्ट ब्लड के रिपोर्ट के ऊपर हमारा ये 304 आईपीसी का केस टिका हुआ नहीं है। इन स्पाइट और डिस्पाइट द ब्लड टेस्ट रिपोर्ट हमारी केस 304 आईपीसी की है, जिसमें हम नॉलेज की बात कर रहे हैं कि आरोपी की जो कंडक्ट थी और जो सीक्वेंस ऑफ इवेंट्स था, उससे आरोपी ये फुल नॉलेज में था कि उससे किसी की जान जा सकती है, इसलिए ये 304 आईपीसी की केस दाखिल की।
You know, we spoke about it earlier, and let me reiterate. There were reports that when the driver apparently was questioned by the police post the accident, the driver had said that although he had offered to drive the car, the teen had taken the wheel and said, "I shall drive." The other bone of contention is also the alteration in the teen's bail. The JGB's earlier order granting the minor bail barely 15 hours after the incident on 19th of May had sparked intense public outrage. On your screens right now are the conditions under which the bail was granted. 2 bonds of 7,500 rupees each, visit the RTO and study all the rules and regulations and submit a report within 15 days, assist RTO officials and study traffic rules for 15 days and submit a report, refer to external de-addiction counseling for alcohol consumption, consult psychiatrist and submit a report to Juvenile Justice Board within 15 days. Parents also directed to keep their teenager present before JJB and as and when required and keep him away from bad company. Of course, that was later changed to the teen being sent to a remand home. But today our focus is on how the huge public outcry everywhere on social media platforms, on the streets of Pune and actually also in many parts of Bengaluru, the huge public outcry not only made the JJB change the bail conditions, but also why the Pune police was forced to explain, why the press conference. Of course, everyone has a right to actually give out a press conference, but it seemed as if they were trying to convince the people that they had done due diligence. Let me now go to our panel of experts who are joining me in this broadcast. Professor Dhanraj Vanjari, former ACP Mumbai Police, is with us, and Dr. Rajiv Nanda, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court. A very, very warm welcome to both of you. Professor Vanjari, let me come to you first. Considering you're a former ACP of Mumbai Police, you may have perhaps even dealt with many cases. Sir, what is the need? There was a time when the press conferences very few and far in between. I'm from that generation, you know. The police never held a press conference, but we saw in the Arushi case, also in the Peter Mukherjee case, there were statements after statements. So my antenna always becomes alert. Why is this press conference? Why did the Pune top cop Amitesh ji had to come and give a press conference, sir? Do you think it is to kind of put a lid on the public outcry which started over, oh, the police did not do due diligence?
Yeah, to much extent, you are right. It is the effect of a large hue and cry in a public and the way people talking on various platforms about the legal system, about the police investigations, operational machinery. People are also talking and criticizing the role of police officers who are investigating or connected with this case somehow. In such circumstances, it is possible that the higher authority, like Commissioner, today Mr. Amitesh Kumar has come forward and took a press conference. He tried to convince it either way. Very clearly he said कि मेरे पुलिस अफसरों ने जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन कोर्स अपनाया है वो बिल्कुल लीगल है, परफेक्ट है, सही है. Now I tell you, in between, there can be issues. Okay. If suppose some deviation for his statement has happened to come as a factual evidence before the court of
Professor
law.
Professor Saab, I'm very sorry to interject, sir, but I have to take a break. It's mandatory. Let me take a break, sir, and I'll come back and you please list out the issues that you were referring to. Thank you for your patience, sir.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी.
How do you fulfill that promise? Because ultimately expectations have to be met. If you look at the political landscape, is it really changing for women? And what is the inability of the forces that dead bodies surface but not the living people? The game of power politics has begun. The poll bugle has been sounded. Who will receive the death blow? Who will be checkmated? It still remains to be seen.
ये दिखाता है हर कार्यकर्ता का बुलंद हौसला.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
All right, that's the issue that we are focusing on. Evidence tampered. That's what the police is saying. The Pune police in the Porsche case, they came out today and held a press conference. I'm joined by Professor Dhanraj Vanjari, former ACP Mumbai Police, and Dr. Rajiv Nanda, Senior Advocate of Supreme Court. Professor Vanjari, please go ahead and finish what you were saying. You were saying there could be some issues in this. Please go ahead, sir.
The issue is, suppose the fact deposed in a press conference today by Police Commissioner Pune come in jeopardy conditioning before the court, then again he will be held responsible, and that time he will be having a constraint to take action against his own subordinates who has given whatever information today he displayed in the press conference. So that risk is always there, and that's why normally for ongoing investigation, no such press conference is advisable as per my experience of police officer goes. But certain circumstances which compels the police to do that is this. Lot of hue and cry, people are talking about the minor and major age under the law. The petition already been filed by the police for that. So definitely there was a cause for police officer, but generally in a special and general cases, if you see, especially this case comes under the exceptional category, but in general, till the investigation complete and charge sheet is filed in the court of law, press conference by police officer is not advisable, neither it is a practice.
Absolutely. That's what I was started this conversation with, that it is a new practice now. Dr. Rajiv Nanda, who's Senior Advocate of Supreme Court. Dr. Nanda, look at the twist and the turns in this case, Dr. Nanda. You know, right from, the police not having done due diligence, and of course, I will ask Professor later about how did this information leak. That's very important. I also want to bring to your notice about how the Juvenile Justice Board, first they say, okay, let's, kind of take the child in, question him, and then release him on conditional bail. There are conditions given like write an essay, go to RTO, etc. Then within 24 to 48 hours, again, the issue is about public outcry, sir. Like the police had to do a press conference is what my contention is. They decide to send the teenager to a remand home. What is going on? I mean, you can't possibly, if it's a law, it can't be dealt case by case. Would you agree, Dr. Nanda?
See, the law is very clear here. After the Nirbhaya case, the JJ Act, Juvenile Justice Act, Section 15 was amended, and amendment was brought in where not everybody who's under 18 would be given this kind of benefit and let go, the Juvenile Justice Board will try and conduct a preliminary inquiry into the mental and physical capacity of the person who is accused of having committed such crime, such heinous crime like rape, acid attack, and the death. Here also, initially it appears that I don't have the evidence to say so, but it appears that the police was under pressure or influenced by the links of the parents of this accused. So therefore, they perhaps wanted him to get a clear sheet, and JJ Act was applied as if he was a minor. But there was a huge public outcry, and that forced the board to reconsider its decision to put more conditions here. But here again, the thing is, in case he's above 16, which admittedly he is, even if there is a JJ Act applied, he would be tried as a senior person, as above 18, as major, and would be tried not only under 304, 279, which is only just 6 months for driving rash and negligent, but certainly he would not be tried under 304A, but under 304. 304 IPC means that he knew what his act can cause. He may not have the intention of causing the death of these particular techies, but then he knew what his act could lead into.
That's knew culpable. That, is it culpable homicide not amounting to murder?
Yes, 304 IPC. Yeah. I was coming to that. It may not be murder 302 directly that he knew that who he is killing, but he knew his acts could lead to somebody's death, and here he would be tried under 304. The more important thing which I wanted to point out is not what the police commissioner is saying, that they would be taking action under 201. Why 201? Why not under 212? Harboring an offender. He is harboring an offender. Harboring an offender can lead punishment up to life, and that's what the father should also be charged with, because he knew his son has done it, and he was not only trying to destroy the evidence under 201 IPC, but also was harboring the criminal under 212 IPC. So he must be dealt accordingly. The public outcry has really made the JJ board to reconsider its decision under section 15.
but it's not, I don't think, I mean, I'll come back to you, but I have a thing, you know, just because he's privileged, he's a rich kid. Now the thing is that if it's an act, then it needs to be equally applied to all the juveniles, whatever your economic background be. But I'll come back, and my whole focus is on the public outcry in this case. You know, ye public hai, ye sab janti hai. We know that the Janata Janardhan is the strongest. But is this how the judiciary, you know, the justice system works? Then if it is that, people will have doubts in their mind forever. Professor Vanjari, I want to ask you, sir, you know, I have also done the crime beat, and when we would go to police stations and they would say off the record, bata raha hu, ye hua hai. And we would just publish that because we would not name you, you meaning the police officer, but we would do it. The point is, sir, it cannot get leaked. Like, why wasn't in this case, sir? Blood test was not conducted within stipulated hours. How the boy apparently was fed water and pizza and, you know, things like that, so that, you know, the water flushes out the alcohol quantity. About how, you know, there are lots of loopholes. I mean, we can play that on your thing. Sir, who's leaked all this information, sir? So that there can be a public outcry. There seems to be a conspiracy within a conspiracy, Professor Saab.
Yes, I do not deny conspiracy within a conspiracy. And I am of the clear opinion that if any police officer on police station level or investigating officers team has done such kind of thing, which either covers under section of 201 IPC or 212 IPC. If you extend the meaning of harboring, yes, that section is also applicable. I think the police officer, if they have done it with bona fide negligence, bona fide mistake, it's okay, it can be inquired into in departmental inquiry. But if it is a malified mistake, then definitely it's an act contributory to the crime. And they also should be held equally responsible, irrespective of their ranks and files.
I just think Yeah, Professor Vanjari, I just think that the entire case has really, now it is being left to the public to decide, and that is a very dangerous precedent, you know, to do. That is very dangerous because we still have a very, very strong judiciary in this country. Let me take a break, Professor Saab. I'm going to come back and I shall once again speak to you because you were listing some more reasons. Stay with us, sir.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
Why is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
Can the Trinamool candidate from Baharampur hit the ball out of the park?
50-60 दिन बहुत ज़्यादा बोल रहा हूँ, उससे पहले ही काम दिखने स्टार्ट हो जाएंगे.
Pitted opposite Pathan in Team BJP is Dr. Nirmal Kumar Saha.
The fight is not Adit Chaudhary and Nirmal Saha. The fight between Modi versus Rahul Gandhi.
Yusuf Pathan and Nirmal Saha, two professionals who have switched to politics, are taking on Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. Can one of the first-time politicians end his winning streak? This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
All right, that's the issue. Evidence tampered in the Pune Porsche case. That's what Amitesh Kumar said, the top cop in Pune. I have Professor Dhanraj Vanjari with me, former ACP Mumbai. Professor Saab, please go ahead and finish your point. Then I go to Dr. Nanda.
Yeah, second point I was trying to make is we should trust the science and in particular the forensic science. Let me tell you the classic example of Salman Khan's case where I was associated with investigation, and there was the same issue. He had consumed some intoxicant, and whether the tracks were there or not. So already 48 hours, 72 hours had passed, and after that the test was conducted. It was called histopathology test. If in this case, they apply the same mechanism and go back and trace that, yes, this man before so many hours had taken the alcohol or not. And that is possible. If police will not do it, I'm sure, looking into the crowd today in the public and in media, I'm sure somebody will go in the court, file a petition and ask for the advanced forensic examination of blood sample of the juvenile in this case. Third and last point, what about his psychological profiling? If a kid is capable to make decision to go for alcohol, if a kid is capable to make a decision to take the charge of the car and drive himself, then there are two important aspects to it. One is psychological profiling the psychology is
Right.
expert science, and psychologist can be a witness under 145 section Indian Evidence Act.
All right.
Number two, and very recent, which I would like to share, the digital brain mapping. Digital brain mapping would decide and complement the report of psychological profiling that whether his decision-making mechanism in the brain is intact and not deviated, he can make independent decisions, and that is enough. As per the Nirbhaya cases above 16, he should be considered as not a minor and should be tried in a regular course under section 304.
All right. Quickly, before I go to Dr. Nanda, I'm completely running out of time. Even in the Salman Khan case, sir, isn't it true, Professor Vanjari, that the whole driver thing had also come, that I wasn't driving, the driver was driving? Yeah, all right. So very similar case here also. The driver is being made the scapegoat, just like in the Salman Khan case. Dr. Nanda, quickly tell me. You said more sections can be applied in this case. I want to ask you that somewhere, because of the public outcry, has the case been botched up? Is it already in the realm of confusion, as it were, and trying to save, you know, your soul by saying, let's do only this much, otherwise there'll be more public outcry. Itna bahut hai, itna bahut hai. You see, politicians have also spoken about it. They said there is more to it than meets the eye.
See, the case, police has already done whatever harm they could have done. But nevertheless, even if the blood sample test, which is now more than 72 hours, have gone, even if I say presume that there is nothing which is coming up, there are other evidences that he was driving it at such a rash speed, about 200 kilometers per hour, which itself is going to cause and show that he had the intention, he knew that this can cause death. So whether alcohol in his blood is proved or not proved doesn't take it any further, doesn't damage. Yes, the police has already botched up the case. Police ought to have done their investigation, their job properly. They have not done it. They really have failed their duty.
All right. On that note, Dr. Rajiv Nanda, thank you so much, and Professor Dhanraj Vanjari, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. And now it's time for a break, but when I come back, a macabre murder and a story which started in Bangladesh but ended in Kolkata.
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है, जवाब है मनी 9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
I don't think anybody has isolated Ajit Dada Pawar. Ajit Dada has isolated himself.
That led to a lot of bad blood between the ruling partners.
It is not true. You know it very well, who these elements are, who these individuals are. And these are the very reasons why you see a division in the party. Now this contest between Supriya Sule and Sunetra Pawar is really a proxy war between uncle and nephew, and it's being fought in the family bastion of Baramati.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
The game of power politics has begun. The poll bugle has been sounded. Who will receive the death blow? Who will be checkmated? It still remains to be seen.
ये दिखाता है हर कार्यकर्ता का बुलंद हौसला।
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
It's our next story. Skinned, minced, deboned. Murder most macabre. A killing so gruesome that it makes your innermost core numb with horror. It is the murder of Bangladesh Member of Parliament Anwarul Anar, who had travelled to Kolkata on 12th May and reportedly went missing a day later. He was found dead in Newtown 10 days later on 22nd May. The CID West Bengal detained one person on Thursday evening for his alleged involvement in the murder of the 56-year-old MP, whose murder has sent shivers down the spine of many across the subcontinent. The man who murdered the MP has been identified as a 24-year-old illegal Bangladeshi immigrant called Jihad Havladar, a butcher by profession who was living in Mumbai. The case unfolded like this. The Bangladeshi parliamentarian Anwarul Anar reportedly arrived in Kolkata on 12th May to undergo medical treatment and stayed with a man called Gopal Bishash in North Kolkata. Bishash smelt a rat when Anar went incommunicado after he left his Baranagar residence for a doctor's appointment in the afternoon of 13th May, while stating that he will be back home for dinner. But he didn't turn up, and it was 4 days. Enter a businessman called Akhtaruzzman Shaheen, who arrived in Kolkata, and it is here that this US resident, who apparently had a long-standing dispute with the deceased, planned the murder by paying close to 5 crores. Well, Anar, the deceased himself, had a dubious reputation and was alleged to have been involved in smuggling. Apart from Jihad Havaldar, Akhtaruzzman allegedly hired 4 others to murder Anar in a flat in Newtown. The police suspect that Anar was possibly lured into Kolkata's Newtown flat by a woman, honey trap, and then murdered by contract killers. Here enters another character in the murder, and that I spoke about, the honey trap, a woman called Chilasti Rahman, said to have been in a relationship with Shaheen. Authorities believe she was used as a honey trap to lure MP Anar to his death, and the involvement became apparent when the intelligence department of the Dhaka Metropolitan Police arrested and interrogated her. It is in this flat in Newtown, after allegedly being honey trapped by Chilasti Rahman, that Anwarul Anar was killed in the most gruesome fashion by hired killers. The MP was first strangulated, then they de-skinned his entire body in the flat, removed all the flesh and minced the flesh to destroy the identity. Thereafter, they packed everything in a poly bag, cut the bones into small pieces and packed them as well. The accused then used various modes of transportation to dispose of those packets at different locations within the Kolkata area. Lots of reactions, horror on this case. Meanwhile, BJP leader Shubhendu Adhikari had said that he blames the Mamata government for the law and order situation in West Bengal, which is bizarre.
बंगाल में कानून का स्थिति नहीं है। ममता बनर्जी की सरकार गुंडा को संरक्षण दे रहा है और पुलिस टीएमसी का काम कर रहा है, इसलिए ये हो रहा है, बदनाम हो रहा है देश में। बंगाल में कानून का स्थिति नहीं है। ममता बनर्जी की सरकार गुंडा को संरक्षण दे रहा है और पुलिस टीएमसी का काम कर रहा है, इसलिए ये हो रहा है, बदनाम हो रहा है देश में।
Just because the MP was a parliamentarian in Bangladesh doesn't mean that this is all about local politics. Of course, it's election time, everyone is going to gun for the other. If this isn't a murder most foul, which makes one shudder, then what it is? To speak on this, I am being joined by Salim Samad, independent journalist and rights defender in Bangladesh. Mr. Samad, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast, Mr. Samad. You know, you have to unmute yourself, sir. I can't hear you. That's Salim Samad, who's joining us. He's an independent journalist and rights defender from Bangladesh. He's joining us to speak about the MP Anar's gruesome, macabre death in Kolkata, where he was skinned, minced and deboned. Mr. Samad, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. You can hear me?
Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar.
I want to ask you, you know, this is a murder most gruesome. It's a murder most macabre. You know, condolences to his family, whatever, but, you know, just take us through. What are the points where you feel that, you know, there is also rumor that he was a smuggler, allegedly, that he had a business dispute with Shaheen, etc., then enters Miss Rahman, who used him as a honey trap. So, Salim Samad, sir, can you just take us through, you know, like it's almost like a crime waiting to happen?
Thank you for having me. First of all, I would go straight into the background and what really happened. First of all, the gentleman that we are talking about, the lawmaker, he was earlier arrested for gold smuggling. And he was a petty ruling party leader of a local area. And incidentally, he was thrice elected as a member of parliament from his constituency in Jhinada. In fact, his case against and his arrest on the case of gold smuggling was deleted, or it was erased when he became an MP. So possibly that was a bargain with the government that if you have to nominate me, if I get elected, you have to get away this delete or the case should be squashed in the court. And it was squashed, and there was no arrest warrant against him. So everything was there. Even his accomplices were all released from the prison. So when he became the member of parliament, that was the only time he was very, very popular in his region, and he knew the skill how to reach the people. Because every time somebody had died, and he personally visited the family to pay condolence. So that is one of the reasons he was very, very popular with the people. So he got a very good vote. I mean, despite you may have heard that in the last election there was a very the turnout in the election was very poor, but he really reasonably got a very good vote. So that is the background, number one. Number two, he was definitely involved in trade, in business, and of course, this cross-border trade. And he has a business establishment in Kolkata. So it is nothing very strange that he was not in this business. And he also has gold business, jewelry business in the capital Dhaka, in a very high, in a posh area. So you can understand that he had been involved with and yes, you're right that his partner, the 4,000 crore taka worth of gold that has been alleged that he had pilfered or has stolen and did not give share or to the partner as well as to other beneficiaries.
Okay.
So that is one of the, you can understand the anger, the vengeance against the lawmaker by his partner or the those who are responsible for the murder.
So basically, he did not give the payback, and therefore you think the crime happened because Shaheen decided to teach him a lesson. But a murder so gruesome, Samad Saab? A murder gruesome?
Lesson, no, not to give him a lesson. He just wanted to, because he refused to pay. So that is what has been
it's revenge, no?
He refused to share, because he was refusing to share the money not on the day of the murder. He had been refusing this for months.
Okay.
So that was where he had it. And according to the Indian government's statistics, that 400, more than 4 tons, I cannot translate in kilogram, the kilogram of gold that has been smuggled through the porous border. Despite you see the barbed wire all over the country,
right?
But there are dozens, scores of porous borders. So,
all right.
And that guy, this lawmaker, he had a lot of interest that his town is just on the border.
No,
so
but Samad sir, yeah, I know that he has a very, very questionable past. He, he was allegedly a smuggler. You are saying that, he did not pay, what was due, if I may use that word, to Shaheen. But what a gruesome murder, Salim Samad Saab. I mean, to, debone him, skin removed, cut him into pieces. It looks like there is a lot of anger in this. This is not just revenge. There is that I will teach you a lesson that no one should find even a part of your body.
Okay, I agree with you.
Okay.
The vengeance has nothing to do with vengeance here. It is actually, you're right, that because they had failed to realize their share of the booty.
Right.
So obviously you can understand this has happened.
All right,
and it reminds me of the journalist, that the Saudi Arabian journalist Adnan Khashoggi, who was also been skinned and chopped off, and his body was never found in Istanbul.
Right.
So I would definitely not relate, but yes, gruesome murders has happened in the last several years, even in Bangladesh. Earlier, there are other issues.
Right.
The body has never been found.
Yeah. Also, the chief of the detective.
Most of the bodies. Sorry. Yes, most of the bodies that has not been found or they've been just vanished is all the people who were perpetrators that have had political connections.
All right. They have political connections. There is also a criminal past, as it were. But, Bangladesh has been reporting, and the detective branch chief, Mohammed Rashid, I think that's his name, if I'm not wrong. He's been, quoted as saying, Mohammed Rashid, he says that Shimul Buyan, a leader of Purva Bangla Communist Party, changed his name as Amanullah and obtained a passport to carry out the killing in Kolkata and dodge the law enforcers. Is this what the police has now, is this what the police is talking about? That it is, pegging it on Purva Bangla Communist Party, sir?
Purva Bangla Communist Party was actually, they did not believe in that Communist Party did not believe in the existence of Bangladesh. So they renamed it as East Bengal, which is in Purva Bangla. So that is another issue. So they were all underground, and they were so. And after an amnesty means a definite amnesty.
Right.
So Simul was also took that advantage, but most of the Purva Bangla Communist Party have, for the last, they do not exist anymore, because all the leaders have been released, and they are in the mainstream.
Also, the DB chief has revealed that the initial plan to carry out the crime was in Bangladesh, but they said that there was such a surveillance on them, that's why they came to Kolkata. I mean, they could have shared the details with Kolkata police, and we needn't have had such a gruesome murder. Salim Samad Saab?
This is right. I mean, he had to deploy and hire dozens of people to organize this gruesome murder.
Salim Samad Saab, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. Thank you indeed for throwing light on the different aspects of it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. You're welcome.
And the next story is this. Bengaluru rave party actress Hema tests positive for drugs. You know, the claims of some celebrities when they swore they were being framed at the rave party in a farmhouse near Electronic City in Bengaluru, which was busted by the police on 20th May, has been disproved. 86 people, including Telugu actress Hema, tested positive for having done drugs at the rave party, according to the police. Out of 73 blood samples of men, 59 tested positive, and of the 30 samples for women, 27 have tested positive. It is being said that both Hema and Ashi Roy and supporting actor Chiranjeevi were at the rave party and their blood samples have tested. Now, both, if you remember, Ashi Roy as well as Hema, both of them said, look, we were not at that party. They also released videos to say, the police later said, come on Hema, you were very much at that party. You are recording a video from the farmhouse, and therefore her entire so-called evidence was busted. Now, the thing is that the police has said that all the 86 partygoers will be questioned over the drugs they received at the farmhouse, and more importantly, who supplied them the drugs. The anti-narcotic wing of the CCB raided the farmhouse on Monday morning and arrested 5 people, including Vasu from Andhra Pradesh, who had allegedly organized the Sunrise to Sunset Victory Party to celebrate his birthday. The other names are Mohammad Abu Bakar Siddiq, 29 years old, Veerandir, 43, Y.M. Arun Kumar, 35, and D. Nagababu, who were all arrested along with Vasu. Let me now go across to my colleague Mohammad Wajiullah to learn more about this case. Hi Vaji. I mean, the thing is that it is such a laugh, you know, both Hema and this Ashi Roy making videos and saying, Ashi Roy saying that I thought it was a birthday party, I didn't even know it's a rave party, etc., etc. What else are you learning on the ground?
Well, yes. After things come out, then you'll try to avoid it or try to hide it with something or the other, and that is what both these actors have tried to do. They got busted at this particular party, and after that, the surprising part was Ashi made a video at the farmhouse itself saying that she was not present there. So that clearly gives you that desperate push that they were trying to do to make themselves clear from this thing. But from what we've learned now is that close to 78 people sampled have been tested positive, out of which 50 have been men and 23 have been female. And actor Hema's samples also have tested positive, is what we've been told. And Hema is also one person who the police had no clue about whether she was an actor or not, because all these people who were present there, majority of them were from Andhra and from the bordering side of Andhra, and they had no clue about the police had no clue about them. But now what we've learned is that they have also tested positive, and Hema in the interrogation itself had come out and said that I'm an actor, you should let me go. So that made the police realize that this is something big. It's not a small gathering of a few people who have come to have a party at the farmhouse. It has celebrities also in it. But what the police has now cleared is, if we remember, there were passes of 2 MLAs and 1 MLC that was there in the car. They have cleared that there was no presence of any member of parliament or any government related official. What we've learned is there were kids who were associated with friends who were of rich kids, rich families, and people who were in parliament or in assemblies had any role with the government. Those kids were there, but nobody from any establishment was present there, is what we've been told. But now this entire case has turned a little political also, with the BJP coming out and tweeting saying that under the government of Congress, it has now become Utta Bengaluru. So that is something that is now taking center stage in Karnataka, Sudha.
Vaji, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. That was Mohammad Wajiullah giving us several angles to the rave party case, which was busted on 20th of May on the outskirts of Bengaluru in the Electronic City. That's all we have in this bulletin. Thank you for watching.
Start with the end in mind. You need to know where you want to reach. Every morning that we wake up, we are exercising our choice. The destiny is decided. The results are known that I'm going to win. life of a goalkeeper is something which has always intrigued me. When you come into a stadium, this is the highest level of pressure. When I set out to do something, I decide in my mind that failure is not an option.
What you feel very strongly about, those are the stories to tell.
I have a mind which is absolutely restless. Mind and body are entangled sensations. That brings me back to golf. It's an amazing game.
This is not a perfect game. You only learn from them.
If you have a formula to a success, then you can replicate it.
I feel this is my first step. I'm starting now.
Winner is first born in the mind. I think, therefore I am. We are all about our mind.
World premiere every Saturday on News 9 Live at 9 p.m.
That ink is a semi-permanent dye called the indelible ink.
We are the sole manufacturers of this indelible ink.
Don't try to repair something which is working.
And if you have facial recognition, you can go vote in any booth anywhere based on where you are, and then it will be recorded that you can't vote anywhere else again.
Can we retire indelible ink and use biometrics? Theoretically, my answer would be yes.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
America, there is an inheritance tax. In India, you don't have that.
कांग्रेस की लूट जिंदगी के साथ भी और जिंदगी के बाद भी.
Our manifesto combines ideology with effective administration, with delivery that is long overdue.
Rahul Gandhi is talking about redistribution of wealth. You know, these are the things people are alert to. They want to know, what does Congress say when you say redistribute wealth?
Welcome back. Now, in a significant development in the rave party case at GR Farmhouse, 84 people, including actor Hema, have tested positive for the drugs. The party footages were shared on Instagram by those who were involved, which were later seized by the CCB police. Telugu actress Hema, who attended the party, initially went unrecognized by the CCB police. Her confession came after she was interrogated like everyone else at the party. The police confirmed her identity as an actress upon further investigation. My colleague Vaji is in fact there. Vaji, now it goes that the tests have in fact confirmed that there were substances that were in fact used by them. What further action is the police going to take?
Well, Varghese, close to 101 people were tested on the day when the raid happened by the CCB, and out of that 73 people have tested positive, 53 being men and 23 being the female who were present in that particular party. And like you mentioned, the two actors, actor Hema and Ashi Rao, these are the two actors who were present there from the Telugu film industry. And from now, what we've learned is the police will now individually interrogate each of these people who are present there at the parties. As of now, they are taken down all the footages that we are showing to our viewers right now. These are the Instagram footages of those people who attended that particular party. The police is questioning people on how they procured these drugs that came to that party. We've learned that MDMA, cocaine and Hydra, ganja, all these kinds of drugs were available there. And close to 5 people have been arrested, 3 of them being suppliers and 2 of them being organizers. Now, what we've learned in the particular case of the actor who was present there, the CCB police actually had no clue whether there were any actors that were present there or not. It is the self-confession and the panic at which these two actors reacted, and they themselves expressed to the police that they were actors, and that is when the police got to know, and then Hema coming out and making that video from the same farmhouse, saying that she's not present. She was not one of those who was present at that farmhouse. Also gave the police reasons to put it out that yes, these people were present there, and they have also now tested positive, Varghese.
Well, now in fact also shows that there is an extensive network of rave party organizers. It's not the first time we have celebrities in part of Bengaluru who have in fact attended these rave parties. There have been several such rave parties that have been organized earlier also. We had significant actors from the sandalwood industry also who have been in fact taken into custody for this, and they had in fact gone under test, and it did reveal that they were also taking up some of these drugs that were available. But this seems to be the norm, especially on the outskirts of the city. There seems to be such rave parties, and one or two clampdowns doesn't really affect that network. So is the police going behind this network?
Well, more than the network, what is also the interesting development that has happened is that you were right when you mentioned that a lot of these things are happening at the outskirts of Bengaluru. We've also learned that a lot of farmhouses have cropped up in and around around Bangalore, and these people cater to a lot of parties which the public is not aware of, or the local police is not aware of. Even in this particular case, it was the CCP with the narcotics division that landed at the particular place. When asked about the police station that was over there, the police station had no clue about such parties that are happening in their vicinity. Now, with a lot of farmhouses that are now coming up in and around Bengaluru, all these things are going unchecked. A few days back, we also saw how a lot of these farmers have their own amusement parks within these in their vicinity, and these amusement parks are also not licensed one. So all of these things are going unchecked as of now. It now remains to be seen what kind of action will be taken, and what has the authorities learned from this raid that they've done on the 23rd of May.
Well, thank you, Vaji, for in fact joining us and giving us all those details. The latest investigations into the rave party in Bengaluru. A significant development is that the tests have in fact been concluded and the results are out, with 84 people, including actor Hema, having tested positive for the drugs.
Forever there are simultaneous election of Parliament, Assembly and Municipality and Panchayat. So that framework has to be given in the Constitution. That amendment has been suggested.
Are you going to take away the power of dissolution?
I mean, it doesn't require any rocket science to do this. It's a simple constitutional amendment, and the idea is everything goes together.
The Law Commission has set the ball rolling for one nation, one election. Basically, if all goes well, then India may see simultaneous elections to Lok Sabha, state assemblies, municipalities and panchayats in 2029.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
वो पूछते हैं कि हम कौन है गालिब, तुम बतलाओ कि हम बतलाएं क्या।
I told him, you do what you think is best. I will not insist.
This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
20,000 people dead and counting. What's happening in the United States of America is unprecedented. You will have to pay for this. is the state not looking at putting an embargo on that?
As a Telangana person, I will not accept.
How do ordinary folks deal with this?
Hello and welcome. You're watching News 9 Live. I'm Shweta Kothari. The top story we're tracking at this hour: Indian markets are rallying, and how both Sensex and Nifty have broken record levels in yet another day of bull run in the markets. What's leading the rally and what does it mean for investors? My colleague Suyash Maheshwari has the details.
In yet another historic feat, the Indian markets achieved another milestone today. Nifty 50 has now scaled the 23,000 mark for the very first time. Meanwhile, the 30-share Sensex has also reached a new record high, climbing above the 75,500 level for the very first time as well. Nifty has now gained nearly 1,200 points, or over 4% in just 10 sessions, outperforming most global stock markets. Earlier this week, Indian markets also touched the 5 trillion rupee market cap, adding the latest 1 trillion in just 117 days. So what's driving this unprecedented rally? Let's try and understand 5 factors that are pushing the bulls forward. The biggest factor, perhaps, are the Lok Sabha elections. The most recent 1,000-point surge for the Nifty began on May 13, coinciding with the 4th phase of the ongoing general elections. Investors celebrated the improved voter turnout in the 4th and the 5th phase, particularly as more northern states cast their ballots where the BJP-led NDA government has a strong presence. Political leadership's stated confidence in the market has also played a significant role. Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently stated that both the BJP and the stock market will touch a fresh record high on June 4th when the Lok Sabha election results are declared. Union Home Minister Amit Shah and External Minister S. Jaishankar have also stepped forward to address market concerns. Shah even urged investors to seize the opportunity and buy stocks ahead of the anticipated rebound after June 4th. These reassurances from the top leaders and positively influence the market sentiment. Then there are foreign brokerages that are suggesting that the recent election-related investor concerns were unwarranted. Bernstein, which is a global wealth management firm, for instance, expect the short-term stock market rally either leading into the elections or the week after the results if Prime Minister Narendra Modi is re-elected. That said, the brokerage sees profit booking thereafter as the reality of execution and valuations emerge. 2 other multinational banks, Nomura and HSBC, are also bullish on Modi and India. Japan-based Nomura has predicted an outright win for Modi's BJP, which could send stocks flying on the D Street. Analysts at HSBC went a step further, anticipating a 323 win for BJP compared to 303 seats in 2019, with NDA coalition reaching 377 tally this time around versus 353 in the 2019 general elections. While foreign brokerages are bullish on Modi and India, the same sentiment has not been reflected in the actions of the big foreign investors. Foreign institutional investors, for instance, have pulled out 33,500 crore from the Indian markets since the start of May. However, their incessant selling has been more than compensated by the consistent buying of domestic institutional investors who have pumped in over 44,000 crores in the Indian markets in the same time frame and extending their buying spree to 10 straight months now. Also improving the sentiment is RBI's surprise gift to the government. At a time when some of the central banks in the advanced economies have reported losses and negative equity, the Reserve Bank of India has announced a bumper dividend of rupees 2.1 lakh crore to its sole owner, the government. The mega dividend by India's central bank will help government reduce its fiscal deficit and step up infrastructure spending.
Well, that's all we have as far as markets is concerned. But shifting focus now, there is a severe heat wave alert in North India. And if heat is bothering you already, get prepared to go sleepless too. If you are in the national capital region, brace for frequent and long power cuts as electricity supply is compromised. Remember, maximum temperature index has now touched 50 degrees Celsius in Delhi, and needless to say, Delhi is burning. Imagine being without power for long hours, especially at night. There is a heat wave red alert for Punjab, Haryana, Delhi and Chandigarh. The conditions are expected to persist according to Indian Meteorological Department. People are dying of heat stroke. And in all of this, India's power infrastructure is now under great pressure. As people switch on ACs, power deficit in June is projected to be the highest in 14 years. India is staring at a looming power crisis. Electricity demand and supply projections show a major power deficit, especially at night time when it is likely to be the widest this June since 2010. The demand is likely to come in at 235 gigawatts, while the supply is projected at 221 gigawatts. This leaves a deficit of at least 14 gigawatts. The peak power demand for this summer season touched a whopping 229 gigawatts on 18th of May. And this will only increase further as severe heat wave conditions continue. The shortage is no surprise. It can be attributed to the usual delays in projects and poor storage levels in reservoirs in India. Now, coal-fired power projects scheduled to outstream in March with a power capacity of 3.6 gigawatts of power have been delayed. Hydrogen generation has come down steeply due to low levels of water in reservoirs, and the much-hyped renewable energy output has been relatively flat. It has not compensated at all for the shortfall from other sources of electricity, and the above normal maximum temperature has only made it worse. But the problem is not new. In fact, India suffers from this problem every year. So why should you worry this time? What is new this time is that there will be more nighttime shortage of power. The daytime power deficit due to strong industrial demand, which was a problem last time, has been done away with. But with setting up of solar capacity, which has grown to over 4 times in past 5 years, daytime demand has been met. In the absence of this power source at night, the nighttime deficit remains a cause of concern. The government too has kicked into action. The planned maintenance of power plants has already been deferred. The centre has now restarted 5 coal-fired units and allowed imports of coal-fired and power gas power plants to operate at full capacity. It has asked all thermal power plants to also work at full capacity. The completion of delayed power projects has also been now fast-tracked. But these measures are not enough. India needs more power as it grows. And to meet the need, government needs to plan capacity additions and execute them in a time-bound manner. While some keep also, in fact, some buffer capacity for rainy days, in this case, hotter than expected days. The country's power mix needs a right balance of thermal, gas-based power as well as renewable energy, so that a sudden demand spike like this one doesn't send the government into a tizzy and people into darkness, quite literally. But until that happens, you, the residents of Delhi NCR, should prepare to go sleepless on long, hot nights with no power, at least for now. And with that, it's time for a short break here. We'll be back with more on the other side. Keep watching News 9 Live.